Good morning. Whew, that's loud. Morning, guys. My name is Sam Friedman. I work for Chainlink Labs. And I wear a number of hats, play a number of roles here. I've been the subject matter expert for our automation oracle, and I'm the technical lead on Build, which is our incubator program. And I'm available online. I've got my contact information here. Today I'm talking about automation in DeFi and what use cases it enables. New use cases, interesting use cases. And I'm going to explain this through a number of examples of projects that we've worked with. So first is, the future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed, meaning that people are already automating, or systems are already automated, and it's a trend. They're only getting more automated. It's unlikely that you have an automated system and you're converting it to manual. And the reason is, automated actions are more accurate, they're less error prone, and they generally cost less. And if you look at markets, you'll generally find that the more liquid a market is, the more automation will exist. So even in equities, when people place like big block trades and all that's done, the orders placed manually, orders typically broken up into randomly smaller bytes to at least hide information. All right, so Chainlink Labs provides a number of different oracles. Automation is just one. I'm happy to answer questions at the booth about all of these. Typically, I get a lot of questions about our market data or price feeds. That's just one. So another one is VRF, which is randomness on chain, proof of reserve, automation, which we're talking about today, and CCIP, which is our cross-chain interoperability protocol. Some of these use cases. Okay, so how does automation work? Developers will write what we call a hybrid smart contract. And by hybrid, it means it has two functions. One function executes off-chain, and a second function executes on-chain. So the off-chain function is a checker. It checks for a trigger condition, which might be elapsed time, it might be a schedule, it might be change of state on the blockchain. And that condition is checked every single block. It's simulated, there's no gas, it doesn't change state. If that function returns false, then nothing happens, it just checks again the next block. But if the function returns true, then it calls the on-chain function, which is a perform action, which changes state. And that perform action might be any number of things I'm about to explain, like rebalance a vault, distribute rewards, etc. Those hybrid smart contracts are executed by a decentralized Oracle network. So it's not one node that looks at the contract. It's a number of nodes, let's say between 16 and 31 nodes, depending on how much value is secured. They all check the contract. They all check the checker function and the perform function. And if they come to consensus on the results, then they put the transaction on chain. If there's no consensus on the results, then it just checks again. All right, some of these use cases use Chainlink Functions, which is a beta oracle we released a couple days ago. We're happy to answer all kinds of questions about this at the booth, or if we have time at the end. All right, first use case, recurring payments or programmable recurring payments. Imagine you have a token-gated service. It might be crypto software as a service. It might be an app as a service. It might be entitlements to a Discord group where you get alpha or you join a community. You would like to be able to accept payments in crypto. You can do that with Cask Protocol. They have a widget that you can install in a web browser, in an app, in a web app, or a plugin to Discord, and users can pay in crypto and get an NFT, and as long as they're making their payments every month, which are automated, either automatically withdrawn from their wallet or withdrawn from a vault where they've deposited funds, their NFT is active. As soon as they stop paying, the NFT is burned. And anyone who's either using Discord to grant access or another application just checks the NFT. So a developer or a project implementing this has a nice dashboard where they can check the status and see things like how many subscriptions have sold, how many are active, what kind of revenue is coming in month over month or year over year. All right, second use case is algorithmic trading. So has anyone here deposited in Aave or Compound or any money market and taken a loan and got liquidated? Yeah, okay. So RoboVault enables complex leveraged yield farming, or even simple leveraged yield farming without the risk of liquidation. And they do that with automation. So one example is, and this is just a simple use case, they have a number of different strategies. The user would deposit USDC into a vault, and then automation would borrow some of that, deposit some of that USDC in Aave or Compound or some money market, and borrow a volatile asset. Then it would take the remaining USDC that was not deposited in the vault with the borrowed volatile asset and put that in a DEX as a LP. And then it would take the LP position and put that in a yield aggregator and earn additional fees or auto compound. If the price of the volatile asset changes, there's a risk of liquidation. And automation will automatically check to see if the risk is high. And if it is, it'll rebalance. And if the risk is low and it can potentially borrow more for more leverage, it'll do that. So automated leveraged yield farming. So an example, if you hold AVAX, Avalanche's gas token, and there's a 15% drawdown in the price of AVAX, then you're losing 15%. But if you put it in a delta neutral strategy like I just described, then you're actually making money on fees the whole time because you have a long position and a short position that are balancing each other out. And if your automation system is not reliable, then you're going to have a bad time. Next use case, under-collateralized borrowing. So Bloomberg Protocol enables users to borrow more than the value of the collateral they've deposited. And the way they do that is they've scripted or whitelisted or pre-programmed a number of different actions that you can take with the borrowed assets. So if you deposit, let's say, ETH, and you borrow USDC, and put that USDC in a curve pool to earn fees, you're going to get a very high loan-to-value or collateralization factor because the risk is very low. However, if you had deposited ETH and borrowed Shiba Inu or some very volatile asset, then your loan-to-value ratio is going to be much, much lower. And they're able to do this because they have automation, which will automatically liquidate any position that becomes under-collateralized. And they're able to offer very aggressive strategies because they have automation that can do things like balance leverage positions or rebalance leverage positions as needed. All right, next use case. I think I'm going too fast. Smart contracts categorically only have access to data available on-chain, unless you have a solution like Space and Time, which makes relational data available to smart contracts. So Space and Time has a decentralized relational database that users can populate from any system they want. It might be an enterprise system, a legacy system. It might be performing their own calculations, calculating Greeks for derivatives. It might be calculating values on collection of sneakers or other real-world assets. And a smart contract can make a query to pull that data on-chain. And when does a contract make that query? It could be on any type of trigger condition I described earlier. So it might be every 30 minutes, once a day, first Monday of the month, when some state condition changes on-chain. Your smart contracts are now smarter. Next use case, adaptive strategies. So you may have fixed parameters or fixed values off-chain, but you may also have maybe predictive analytics that's constantly checking, running models, and looking for trends, anticipating movements in the market, or detecting risk that may not be available on-chain directly by checking, or it may not be feasible to calculate and perform these calculations and models on-chain because, one, they're too expensive, or two, there just isn't enough gas in the block to perform the calculation. So you can have your models running 24/7 and have a smart contract request and update as needed. All right, these are just 4 or 5 different use cases for automation in DeFi. There are countless others. I only talked about DeFi today, but you can do automation with gaming, like renting NFTs and automatically pulling your NFTs back after the rental is over. distributing rewards, vesting, locking and unlocking, or rebalancing index or rebase tokens. They're really endless use cases. So all of these projects have at least one thing in common, which is they use automation. So smart contracts can basically wake themselves up based on the condition that a developer has programmed in the trigger conditions. But they're also part of our incubator program called Build. So that's another one of my roles. If you're a startup project, a young project, or an established project, and you need technical help with oracles, or non-technical help like building strategic marketing plans, co-marketing, you're trying to raise capital, you're trying to build a community and you need help with ecosystem growth, then our Build program may be right for you. And we'd be more than happy to talk to you at the booth. I'm going to have a few time for questions as well. And my name is Sam Friedman. I'm here, I'm at the booth all day. I'm here for another few minutes. I've got Mike Stone over there from Chainlink. Raise your hand. He can answer all kinds of questions about automation. And some of the projects that I talked about today are here in the audience too. So Space and Time is here, and ChainML is here. Great to see you. Anyone else? Oh, hey, and RoboVault is here. So if you have questions about any of these strategies here or use cases, then please ask me or ask the person sitting next to you. That's it for my presentation. I'm happy to answer questions. I'm happy to go back to the booth too. All right, thanks everyone.